Today, I'm going to tell you a story about the unexpected twists life can throw at you and how sometimes the hardest battles are fought within the walls of your own home. I never thought I'd find myself standing at the crossroads of love and betrayal. But here I am. My name is James Daniels, and this is the story of how my world turned upside down after my wife, Linda, walked out on us 7 years ago. It all started in college. I was 22, fresh out of high school, trying to navigate the complexities of young adulthood. That's when I met Linda. She was 20, vibrant, with a laugh that could light up the darkest room. We met at a party. Another one of those classic love stories where two people lock eyes and just click. We dated for 3 wonderful years, filled with laughter, dreams, and the promise of forever. I remember the day I proposed like it was yesterday. We were in a snow-covered park, the world around us quiet except for the soft crunch of snow beneath our feet. I got down on one knee, my heart pounding, and asked Linda to be mine forever. With tears in her eyes, she said yes. We got married in a small ceremony, surrounded by close family and friends. Linda looked stunning in her white dress, and I felt like the happiest man alive. The first few years of marriage were everything I had hoped for. We built a cozy home in a quiet neighborhood, a sanctuary where Rosie, our daughter, would grow up surrounded by love. When Rosie was born, she was the most beautiful baby I had ever seen. Holding her in my arms, I dreamed of our future together, happy, united, and filled with love. But as the years went by, things started to change. Linda, who was once so vibrant and full of life, became distant. She seemed unhappy, and no matter how hard I tried to reach out, she brushed me off or got defensive. The arguments became more frequent, the tension in our home unbearable. I couldn't understand what was wrong. I thought we could work through anything, but Linda made it clear she felt trapped and needed space. About a year before she left, Linda moved into the guest room. Our communication became strained, and it felt like we were living with 2 strangers under the same roof. Rosie was just 16, navigating her own teenage struggles, and I didn't want her to see the cracks in our marriage. Despite the tension, I tried to keep things normal for her sake. We grew closer, leaning on each other as we faced this new reality without Linda. Then one day, Linda left. No warning, no explanation, just a note saying she needed to find herself and couldn't do it anymore. I was devastated. Rosie was heartbroken, constantly asking why her mom left. I told her that her mom loved her, but needed to sort out her own life. It was one of the hardest times of my life. But Rosie and I grew even closer as we tried to navigate life without her. A few months later, I received divorce papers. Linda had left me for someone else. David, a 50-year-old successful businessman. Learning that Linda left me for David was a huge blow. David seemed to have everything I didn't: wealth, status, the ability to provide a luxurious life. I couldn't help but feel inadequate, like I wasn't enough for Linda or Rosie. Despite the pain, I focused on supporting Rosie. We built a stronger bond, trying to fill the void left by Linda. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling of being replaced, not just as a husband but as a father. Years passed, and life settled into a new normal. Rosie went to college, focused on her studies and friends. Then, out of the blue, Linda reached out to her. Rosie was excited but cautious. They started talking on the phone and met up for coffee. It was like old times, but Rosie was guarded, not wanting to get hurt again. Their relationship grew slowly, and I was happy to see Rosie reconnect with her mother, hoping it would bring some healing to our fractured family. When Rosie announced her engagement, I was thrilled. It felt like a new beginning for her, a chance to create her own happy ending. She shared her excitement about the wedding plans, and I was eager to be a part of it. We had several planning sessions, and for a moment, I believed everything was going to be okay. But then Linda and David offered to fund the entire wedding, with one condition: I wouldn't be invited. They insisted that David would walk Rosie down the aisle instead of me. I was blindsided, Why would Rosie agree to such a thing? I tried to reason with her, but she seemed determined. It felt like a punch to the gut, realizing that after everything, I was being sidelined again. Faced with this painful reality, I decided to gift the house I had inherited from my parents to my niece Lily, instead of Rosie. Lily had always been there for me, hard-working and struggling financially. The house could change her life, provide her with stability and opportunities one couldn't offer Rosie right now. When I told Lily about the gift, her joy was palpable. She hugged me tightly, thanking me over and over. It was a moment of genuine happiness amidst the turmoil. But when Rosie found out, everything fell apart. She was livid, calling me to try and talk me out of giving the house to Lily. I ignored her calls, not ready for another confrontation. A few days later, Rosie showed up at my house, looking determined and frustrated. She sat me down and broke down, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't believe I chose Lily over her. Her pleas felt manipulative, like she was trying to guilt-trip me into changing my decision. She accused me of not loving her and prioritizing Lily over her, deepening the rift between us. I stood firm, telling her that I couldn't let her manipulate me into giving away something so precious. It wasn't just about the house. It was about feeling pushed aside and disregarded. I told her that if she didn't leave, I would have to call the police. She left, her disappointment evident, and for a moment, it felt like I had lost her too. But life has a way of not giving us a break. Just as I was trying to rebuild my life, Rosie decided to get married. Her fiancé, unaware of the underlying tensions, found out she had cheated on him. The revelation shattered her wedding plans and left her emotionally devastated. The fiancé, heartbroken and furious, ended things abruptly, leaving Rosie to face the consequences of her actions alone. I heard about this through a mutual friend and reached out to Rosie with a simple message of concern. I didn't bring up the house or the wedding. I just wanted her to know I cared about her well-being. It was a difficult message to send, but it felt necessary. Meanwhile, Rosie was living with Linda and David, further complicating our family dynamics. I also decided to show Lily the house, promising her that once she graduates and finds a job nearby, she can move in without any legal hassles. It was a step towards ensuring Lily could benefit from the gift without unnecessary stress. Then, things took another unexpected turn. Rosie and Linda got into a massive fight over how Rosie had treated her fiancé and how it reflected on the family. Rosie, desperate and lost, called me in tears, asking if she could stay with me for a while. Part of me wanted to help her. She sounded so broken, but I couldn't ignore the pain and betrayal I still felt. I had to set boundaries for my own emotional well-being. Rosie stayed with a friend for a week, reaching out to other family members and friends for support. But a few days ago, she tried to break into my house using a spare key I had given her long ago for emergencies. When I saw her sitting on my couch, pleading to stay, I felt a mix of emotions. Compassion for her desperation, but also a deep sense of hurt. I told her firmly that she wasn't welcome and needed to leave. She left with her belongings, her eyes filled with disappointment and hurt. Days later, Rosie returned briefly to retrieve some of her things, leaving without a word. It was another painful reminder of how far we had drifted apart. Now, looking back, I realize how complex and intertwined our lives have become. The decisions I made, though difficult, were meant to protect my own sanity and support those who truly needed it. I've focused on rebuilding my life, pursuing hobbies that bring me joy, and taking care of myself. Lily is thriving, and knowing that I've made a positive impact on her life gives me some solace. As for Rosie, I hope she finds the stability and happiness she seeks. Our relationship is strained, but I still love her and wish her the best, even from a distance. Through all this, I've learned the importance of setting boundaries, prioritizing my mental health, and recognizing that sometimes letting go is the hardest but most necessary step towards healing. Family ties are complex, and while betrayal and loss can leave deep scars, they also teach us resilience and the strength to move forward. Thank you for listening to my story. It's been a journey of heartache, growth, and unexpected turns, but I'm hopeful for what the future holds.